Good morning, everybody, and a happy Victoria Day, a happy Monday to you all. I am so excited for our guest today. But first, I want to talk to you about intuition. So, as you all know, and people that have followed me and my clients know that I'm a big proponent of using the law of attraction to our benefit and how do we access the power. So, the law of attraction is working no matter what is going on in your thought processes. So we've talked about this, be it negative or positive, the law of attraction is working. So if in your life you are seeing something in your physical reality that you don't like, it's because of the thoughts that have been planted and focused on that has now produced a reality. So everything first starts at thought. Now, when we talk about thought, there's also something that's called intuition, and that is really our deeper inner soul voice. And I have talked about this previously, but I have a guest on today that's going to elaborate on this whole notion that intuition is your superpower. And what does that mean? It basically means that when you follow your intuition, you are being guided by a higher source, by your higher self, by the universe, whatever that is to you, that truth that's coming out is intuition. And really, this is a superpower that all of us hold. So today I want to talk to Michele Ho Lung. She is an author and an intuitive healer, as well as she does some amazing things with art. So, and she's going to be doing a healing for us. So I want us to really, listen to her and obviously keep an open mind and just follow your intuition. This is where you can actually tap in. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on this very, very special guest. Let me bring her on so we can all say hello. Hi, Michele. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're in Edmonton and it's a little early for you, but we really appreciate your time. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Nazir. Thank you so much for having me here today, because with all this going on with COVID, I was feeling that I wanted to reach out in some way.
Awesome. That's awesome. Because again, when you put your intention out to the universe, as you've been thinking and doing your own work and the work that you do, obviously, you've attracted something into your experience, which is this conversation that we're having today. And you're going to be right. And you're going to be able to reach out to more people with the message. So can you, before we start, I think people that are following me and this broadcast, just a little bit about yourself, of who you are and how you got to this learning.
Okay, so one of the things is that very young and early in life, I realized that happy comes from within. And this is when I was 12 years old, and I was on the grass, and the sun was shining, and I was smiling and handing out pamphlets. It was for my father's funeral. And what I was thinking was, I am so amazed and so happy about all the people coming to support my mother and my family. And I felt so sad inside, but I had this smile on my face, and it wasn't a fake smile, it was from within. And then at 12, I realized, wait a second, this is really interesting. I'm happy, but I'm so sad inside. And so by our thoughts, and you mentioned that just in your introduction, by your thoughts, you can attract things to you, and you have full control of your thoughts. So going from that, all my life, I don't know if you've been through this, where you have people telling you shouldn't, you should, you couldn't, you're not qualified, you're overqualified, and all that stuff. Well, what that is you take that in, and then you start having these words and these thoughts that bombard you, right, in your mind. And you talked about intuition. Well, intuition tries to get through all that noise. But sometimes we get so caught up with this stuff in our head that our intuition, we put it aside. And so my journey has been one of coming into that, because at first I wouldn't listen to that because I'm very analytical. So from a corporate background, I worked my way up through Hewlett Packard. I was in the oil and gas industry, was a quality manager when a HR manager told me I would never be a quality manager at Hewlett Packard when I was leaving the company after 10 years there. And I never listened. But I allowed myself to get that stuff away so I could tune in to my intuition and follow what was in my heart and the guidance from there.
So is that how the birth of the book came about? I want to understand sort of, your book, which is
Right.
getting published,
Yes.
right? So tell us,
Yes.
is that sort of the birth of the book?
So the birth of the book is really, I love quality. I love process. I love helping people. That's the thing that's behind even me getting into quality, because through quality, if you improve processes, you reduce the stress levels at work. People start smiling at work, having fun at work, and voila, we spend so much time at work. So
Right.
the book came about when years ago my husband said, you need to write a book on quality. And I thought at the time, little me. And that's probably what a lot of you out there are thinking now, especially with COVID. Oh, little me, how am I going to get through this? Well, tap into yourself, right? Realize you have a superpower within yourself in some way. It might not be process like I have, and this gift of healing that I found out I had, but it is through other ways, right? So the thing with the book I wrote, it's about finding your inner spark, your divine spark, that leader within you. Getting through this noise, it gives you hints and tips on how you need to think about things, or what you can do to change your paradigms, right? Even in terms of your health, putting your health first, goes into the power of questioning. And when you do the law of attraction, your questions to the universe brings you back, right? Is that
Right.
true? If you
Absolutely.
tell the universe, you really don't get everything you could get back from it. But
Well,
it's
it's
also
being clear, right?
right,
It's about being clear to the universe. I mean, as we're always transmitting these thoughts and noise and all the stuff that's going out, when there's clarity, then it looks like, oh, I just got an answer that just seems right. But it's about clearing out the noise.
precisely. And that noise is that chatter in your head, right?
Right.
So how do you get to that? And especially now with COVID out there, all the and you had it in one of your posts, turn off the TV. You can listen. You need to listen to some of it, but not every day, 24/7, because that will just drive you so low that you cannot function.
Right.
So,
And I guess that's the thing I want to touch on right now. People that are now we are on day, I don't even know if it's 65 or 70 days of being, shelter in place, and we're all inside our homes, and, things are getting like cabin feverish, and people are getting cabin feverish. So now people are seeing some emotional things showing up for them. There's high levels of stress. There's crying. There's, this ability of not seeing the end or the future. So I want to talk a little bit about how does somebody cope when they're feeling so low?
okay, so when you're feeling so low, the thing about it is to try focusing on changing your focus. So instead of watching what you're doing, change your focus to something else. Think of something you're grateful for. Look beyond what it is that is in front of you that you are consumed with, and shift. Just do a little shift, right? So if you have a grand
Conscious shift, right? Like consciously, we have to take control of it.
control your shift, right? Your mindset. So people call it mindset, but I like to think about as your focus, what you are, the lens you are looking through. So if you're looking, oh my God, I have a person I spoke to, and he had just was getting laid off, and his family was stuck in Mexico, and he was just going through this. I have no food in the fridge. I'm out of money because I had to send them money to try and get them back up. And I said, okay, hold on a sec. Look at what it is you have to be grateful for. They are safe, right? Think of it, what it is you have to do, and what work you're doing. And he was saying, well, I'm working 12-hour days, trying to make them hours up, and also keep going with this, but I just can't. And I said, okay, when you go to work, think of it as being a wonderful day. You're going to have a beautiful day. He says, yeah, I get along with everybody. I said, well, think of it differently. You're not going to have a long day. You're going to have a very nice day dealing with people you love and you like to help, and they're going to be appreciated. And he said, the next couple of days he phoned me back. He said he did it, and it was totally different. So you can consciously
this, right? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Change, precisely. So if there's nothing else that you listeners are grabbing, think of something that is in your way, and we are going to do that with the exercise a little later. But think of something that is really bothering you right now, and choose to look at it differently. Grab something else from somewhere else maybe, and bring it into that where you can then start to look at it differently.
Right.
So that's a conscious way of shifting.
Right. And I like how you said that it's focus. Just change your focus. It doesn't have to be anything so dramatic, right? It's just about consciously catching yourself that I'm looking at something that's really making me feel down or low. And I'm just going to alter my focus a little bit and just look at something a little bit more pleasant, or do something that's going to just make you feel a tad better. You can't go from feeling really low to feeling exhilarated in one shot. I think it's in stages that we get to a point of feeling better.
Yes, so be patient with yourself, but you have to, if you want to get a different result, you have to try something and do something differently, correct?
Right.
So that's really one of the things to do. And always try to focus, know what you want. So my book, I talk about having clarity, knowing what your purpose is, what are your values, and focus on those things and where it is you want to go. If you don't know where you want to go, it's going to be like driving a car and you're just driving and you're going nowhere, right? So know where you want to go, even now, even if things aren't looking too certain. Have an idea of what you love to do, perhaps, or what you'd like to happen, and focus on the end where you want to go and bring things in. See yourself there.
Right. And that's all part of manifestation. And we did a great, last week we had somebody on talking about this whole idea of manifesting what it is that you want. And again, it's all about focus, and it's about knowing that, you know, it's already in your vortex, or you can imagine that whatever you want is already there. And you have to act like it's already come to your experience, even though physically it may not have shown up just yet. It's coming. And I think the faith of it all is that notion that I'm putting it out there, it's going to show up, and I'm going to keep my vibration to that level of receiving it. So what I really want to touch on, and I know this a little bit about you, is the art that you do that's very intuitive. And now a lot of people may not know that all of this is vibrations and energy. And so can you touch on that aspect of what you do?
Yes, well, it's really funny too. This is where you follow your intuition, right? Because if you had told me 10, even 8 years ago, or 5 years ago, that I'd be doing this, I'd say, are you out of your mind, right? I've never taken an art class in my life, really, besides being a kid. But what happened was, it started out something quite simple with cards, and then it evolved into, I was invited to go to a gallery, and then there they said, why don't you become a resident artist? And it went on from there. So the reason I say I paint intuitively is I don't plan necessarily really what I'm going to do. It just flows. And what I discovered after I started doing that when people connect with my paintings, they experience shifts right there. So people buy my paintings because they feel good holding it or looking at it, or their brain gets clear. It's quite amazing.
It's interesting, right? Because there's an energy that you're putting into your painting.
Yes.
That actually is being felt by somebody else who's maybe holding it or looking at it.
Yes. So even this is a new series. So even if you look at this, well, people look at it, and then if I hold it this way and I go like this, then they tend to see something else, right? And if I keep on rotating it, and then at one point people will say, oh, I really like that way. Right. So with these, and the thing with it is, when people hang it up in their space, what they find is that it shifts the space. All of a sudden,
elaborate on that. I think when you and I talk shift, we understand it because we've done a lot of work on ourselves and on this notion. But a lot of people that are watching may not even understand, what do you mean by shift? Can you give us an example of perhaps somebody who's had it in their business place or somewhere?
So what happens is, if you take a blank room and then you introduce something in there, if you introduce one of my paintings and you really love it, what you'll feel is a room actually change, a feeling of the room. It feels brighter, it feels lighter, it feels more, it's vibrating, it feels energized all of a sudden. The space doesn't become a space, it becomes somewhere that's kind of comforting.
Okay, so can you give me an example? Only the reason I'm probing on this is because I read it on one of your testimonials. You had a business owner.
Yes.
So I want you to tell us that little story.
Okay, so he actually had results with just my cards. the little cards I have, and I call them sparkle cards, right? And he bought the whole set. But what he said is he had some paintings that he had in his office because he was showcasing them for me. And then he said, "Wait a second, but I'm getting all these people coming to me, but nobody's closing." And so I said, "Okay." So he says, I'd like to commission you to do a painting." And I said, "Okay." So he said, you said you wanted to help you close. I said, "Yes." He said, win-win situation, very appreciative clients, just totally engaged with a value and all that with their, right? Overcoming objections, that kind of thing in there, but all good, right? Integrity is number one in all my paintings. And so I did it, and I delivered it to on the 23rd of December, right? Just before Christmas a couple years ago. And then January 15th, I phoned him up, and I just happened to phone him. I said, "How are you doing?" He says, "I'm doing fine." And I said, "Well, how's sales?" He says, "Actually, I was just looking at that, and I've had 2/3 of the clients signing up with me of sales over and above last year that I had already in that first quarter." And he actually got about eight people three people signing up with him, and he had 8 the whole of the year before. And he said, "I was just before you called me, just before, thinking of what I could attribute this success to." And he said, "It's your painting, obviously."
And it's funny, you were calling at that moment, which again,
there's precisely. It's all, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about tuning in.
It's tuning in. It's about being aware so that there's things going on around us all the time. There's messages and there's lots of stuff that we kind of, I think we've almost have a veil in front of our eyes where we're not even aware of what's going on. So now that we're sort of, at home and shelter in place, and, it's time to sort of look at life a little bit differently maybe, and be aware of what's going on in our surroundings, like looking at those signs, or, somebody calls, or you've been thinking about somebody and all of a sudden the phone rings, or you get a text message from that person. It just means you're in alignment. Something that you're doing is you're in alignment with that frequency. So I love talking about this, and you know it because you and I talk the same language, right? What I know my guests are really interested in today, and I have put it out there, that we're going to be doing a session, a little activity with you, or an exercise with you that will help people that are feeling a little stressed out or emotional, or just not feeling like they have control over what's going on within themselves. So I want to just ask you if you can walk, well, you're going to walk me through it, but whoever's watching, and if people are watching on replay, they can watch this exercise, go through it with you, and then start noticing what happens. Can we do that?
Yes. So now, before we start, what I'd like to say is that this is all energy and vibrations. It doesn't matter if it's a replay or not, it still works. So right. What I'd like so the thing is, in this time with COVID and everybody's feeling, some people are feeling more shut in than others. What I'd like for you to think about is that this is a time, an opportunity that we've been all asking for years. I'm so busy, I have no time to do anything. And now we have the time and we're complaining about it. And we're, instead of trying to enjoy it, we're in this angst. Oh my God, what if, what if, what if? Well, what if things could be beautiful? What if this is a chance for us to reconnect with the people we love? And I've never had so many conversations with my family, except there's nowhere else to go, right? So you just have these long conversations at the dinner table. So what if this were just a hard reset to say, wait a second, pay attention to what's important to you, and things will work out. Just keep the focus positive. So what I thought I'd do is I'd like you all to, and you can tap in because I know this works. Even if you're on the air waves with me, I know it works. And what I'd like you to think about is what is bringing you the most, I guess, anxiety or worry or angst about. And what I'd like you to do is really to take a deep breath and just decide right now that, just bring it in your awareness and just decide that you're going to let whatever it is that is holding this in place or causing you anything that is there that is causing you to feel this way or be this way, right? Or have these situations, whatever it is, maybe things are coming at you, to just, whatever that is, to allow whatever that is to leave. The intention for this session is for those things that are causing you grief to just evaporate. Okay, because this can work. It can be immediate with me. Okay, so think of it that way. And what I'd like you to do then is, before you start doing that, tune in with yourself and just, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is good, 10 is high, what is your energy level right now? Are you feeling on top of the world? Write it down from 1 to 10. Is it really good? So you're energized, ready to climb Mount Everest? That's a 10. And the other thing is, how, on an emotional level, how good are you feeling? Are you feeling joyful? That'd be a 10. If you're feeling kind of, maybe 5, and really not so good, put it to where it needs to be. And then on the mental level, how clear are you on where you want to go? What it is you want. And again, clarity is crystal clear clarity. You know exactly where you want to go now. That's a 10. And then now, once you do that, just close your eyes, if you would, if you want to join in. And just breathe. Take a deep breath and just feel the chair you're sitting in and just connect. And I'm going to probably just say a few words and just to guide you through, and as I work, right? And then maybe in 5 minutes we can check in again, and I'll just, okay? So breathe and just connect. And just put your intention, if you would, up there right now. What it is that you would, if this were to clear right now, you would have so much relief and feeling of peace and feeling of hope and feeling of dreams possibility coming true for you, and allowing everything that doesn't serve you to leave right now. And ask it, and be willing to just see what is different, what it would be to have a different feeling in this moment and after this moment. And what I'd like you to imagine is seeing yourself in the future with this beautiful smile on your face, with your body feeling all energized, with your feeling of clarity of where you want to go, just being so grounded and so purposeful and just so heart-filling warm. There is this warmth because it's just so perfect, where all the cares and the worries of the world have just left you because you are tuning into your power within, and you know you're beautiful inside and out. And that as you do that, you pull in all your feelings of value and love, and all your feelings of belonging and being valuable and appreciated to others, and appreciating and giving thanks for everything that you have, the things you forgot you have. And realizing that this is just a little time where we have some time to think, and we're not used to thinking and being, not doing anything, and not having to relate to a lot of people all at once because we're in isolation. So allow that to just be okay, to be in isolation, to be quiet, to be with nothing really that anybody is telling you to do, to have this freedom to choose what it is that you want to do in this moment, in these few days or weeks that we have to be in isolation. And just allow it all to be okay for you to feel what it is you want to be doing with your time. And then from there, just see yourself totally joyful, feeling like the world is in front of you, and inviting new possibilities into your life. And then take all the time you wish in a moment to connect with that space. And invite beautiful things into your life. And allow yourself to focus differently when you open your eyes, if you will. If that is okay, and you agree that that might be interesting, then just decide that maybe that's something you'll allow. Nothing has to be difficult. Just decide that maybe you'll notice what's different. And maybe things will look a little different. And maybe things will be a little different as you open your eyes. And allow everything again that doesn't serve you, all the feelings, the angst, all of that stuff, the thinking, the thoughts, the doubts, the worries, the regrets, the sorrows, anything and everything. And just allow, also really key, allow forgiveness to anyone who has, you think has done not right by you. Just allow, just forgive. Allow that forgiveness to be there, and just see yourself being okay with that. Keep the memory and the wisdom, but allow the forgiveness and feel that weight lift from you. As you open your eyes now, just think about how you would like to be stepping forward today and for the next while, and maybe forever, to be looking at things differently so that you can be different and enjoy life in a different way. Okay, so whenever you're ready, you can join us back again.
That was, I have to say, so when you first said open your eyes, or the second time actually, I did open my eyes because I felt like that was time for me to come back. But
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, as you were walking us through it or walking me through it,
Yes,
just in my eyes vision or my mental vision,
yes.
just the fog seemed to just kind of clear up, like it was almost like there was a lifting of something. So I think, as because I've done this with you and I've done other sessions with a lot of energy healers and work, for some people who this may be their first time, is just to sit with it. Because if you don't feel it or you don't see it or don't feel like it didn't work or you don't know what you're doing, it's the energy gets shifted anyways. It's shifting within us as we listen and as we tune in, like you said, right? You're tuning in. And it's that awareness. So if it's the first time for you, repeat this. Come back and watch this video again and repeat it for yourself. Because what you'll notice, and I know we did these numbers and I've done this with you, so I know what's going to happen. But for others, because they don't know, is to gauge how you started, how you felt, and then what you feel. And it may not be a huge jump. It may not be from 2 to 10, but it may go from 2 to 4 or 5, and you'll just watch how you feel. So can you sort of explain that part to us in terms of that grading?
Okay, but before we get into that, what I'd like everybody to check in, and yourself too, is on those three things you wrote down, where would you grade your physical energy right now? And be honest, whatever number pops into your head, write it down. And then on the emotional level, the joyful, where are you now on that scale of 1 to 10? And then on the mental clarity level, where are you on that scale of 1 to 10? If you were to just peg a number on there, would you like to share yours?
Well, you know what? I don't mind. So initially, the first one was physical. And when you would ask me, I just go with my intuition. I just write the number that pops into my head. I don't overthink it. So I had given it a 5. I had given it a 5. And now, after the thing, as soon as you said, how do you feel physically, I wrote the number 7 down. So definitely, I felt this surge of energy kind of fill me. For the emotional, I had put in this number 6. And then after the healing that you did, I went to a 7. So it wasn't a huge jump, but definitely I felt something lighter in my heart. So whatever that was.
So the heart, if you feel lighter, that's an indication that something shifted, and you don't have to know what it is. Like, don't try and say, okay, how did that work? Or that's not the point. The point is you are in a different space.
Right.
So embrace that and decide you're going to step out today and notice what's different, what comes at you, because there may be, somebody phones you've never heard from, and it's the delight, and you go, what else is there that's going to be so nice for me,
Yes.
right?
It's
So it's
opening up to that, like something will show up or
it's
something.
not about how did this happen, or poo-poo it, and or that it's just,
Yes.
really say, okay, if I am lighter, isn't that nice? If it's not, that's okay too. But if I am lighter, isn't that nice? And where can this lead to?
Right.
So the analytical part, I used to be there. If you were looking at me 20 years ago, I would have said, "Oh, get away from me."
Right.
I
Right.
work too, right?
Right.
None of this, airy energy stuff and vibration. What the heck, right? Hard work. But
Yes.
there's a way to get to your results easier with a law of attraction, with appreciating that everything is energy and vibration. What you put out, you attract back to you, which is the law of attraction, right?
Right. Right. And that's the frequency. So the
Right.
third one was that your mental? The third
Clarity.
one was mental. So I had 7, and I actually do have that. Like I said to you, there was this fogginess that kind of evaporated, and I was thinking of some things. So number 8, I gave it an 8.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. So it would be really nice. I think you have people logging in comments to your podcast here.
Yeah, I don't have any right now, but it's usually probably because they've done this healing and they're trying to figure out, their numbers and stuff. But sometimes they'll come in on replay and either ask questions or comment on how they're feeling.
Right.
So for those of you guys that are watching, if you want to comment, just put it in the comment box how you felt when you did this healing. And if you want to share your numbers, you don't have to. But if you feel like you want to share, please comment in the comment box. So now, I know this is such a great session, and it's like 30 minutes and I don't even know where the time is gone, but I like to kind of keep it so that people can get the information and, sit with it and work it out in their own minds. I'd love for people to come back and hashtag replay if you're coming back to this. I want to also share with you where you can find Michele. You can actually befriend her on her page at Sparkle Cards Facebook or FB Circle. You can also go to her website, sparkleyourall.com. And you can message her. I mean, Michele is an amazing human being. So if there's a question that you have or you want to privately ask her about your healing and how you felt, Michele, is it okay if they just message you?
Yes, and on Sparkler All, they'll have information about the book, and there's email information on there, and there's also book a call with me there too as well.
Excellent. Yeah, and that's beautiful, because this will allow them to have some one-on-one with you, just like I've had some time with you and I've done this with you, this kind of healing with you before. And I've seen it does do a shift. And of course, with energy, everything is shifting depending on however we or become aware of it, right? So whatever exists is because it's in our awareness. And so I want to thank you. Like, you are just an amazing human being. You're the brightest light I've seen in terms of my circle of people that I've come in contact with while writing the book. And this was how our journey started. We met because we were on that journey when writing our book. So I want to wish you all the best. I know your book is coming out. I know COVID has kind of put a little bit of a slower process, but even that is divine timing. I believe that it's going to come out when it's meant to come out.
And the nice thing is, there's a free download is still available on that. You can get to it from the Sparkle Euro website.
That's perfect. So people
get a free download of the book. Not it's not an ebook, it's a book, and it is going to be available to you free until it gets printed. So this is all good time.
Get it now. It's a free download on sparkleyourall.com. It's an amazing book to have and to start your reading on. Of course, you can order it. I like to hold copies of my books. Like, I like physical copies. So, I would order it when your book comes out. But for those who want to get a head start on their reading, this is a great book for you to even start your journey on figuring it out, your purpose, your mission, your thought processes, law of attraction. I mean, you cover it all in your book. So I want to invite people to go to your website, to follow you on Facebook, because I know you're putting out some beautiful posts and you always are encouraging people. I love your art. So if anybody's interested in even the intuitive art, they can contact you. So I just want to thank you for your time and for your energy. If there's anything that you need from me or my group, just let me know. And I wish you a wonderful week ahead. Happy Victoria Day.
Yes, and just a thing, if you put the comments in, it gives those people who are doubting, right? It gives them something to say, wait a second, maybe I need to tune into myself more. And it's just an encouragement, right?
Yes.
So
So that's awesome. Any other parting words before I close this session off?
just remember to focus on what it is, like you've been saying. Focus on what it is you want, and really keep that picture in your mind. And all the negative stuff, don't let it sit in you.
Right.
Find a way to focus, bring the positive in, because that will help you to get to your dreams, because things will start to happen around you that will open up opportunities to you
Yep.
if you
And
can get to that
it,
space of being,
it's about, I guess the way to look at that as an analogy is just, fertilize the flowers, the thoughts, the seeds,
nice.
because that's
Yes.
what grows. Because if you fertilize the weeds, which is your negative thoughts and stuff, it's also going to grow, but that's something you don't want in your garden. So thank you again for your time. I wish you so much love and happiness. And as you enjoy this week, I hope that you and your family stay safe and well. Thank you again, Michele. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks to all the listeners, and God bless.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. She's an amazing healer. And if you're coming in after and you missed it, I suggest you go back and just watch that and tune in. Go for the healing. It took about 3 or 4 minutes. I don't know really, but it was a short amount of time. But you can access this on replay, and it works. Whether you're doing it live or not has no bearing on this. It is our energy. It is what we're focusing on. So I hope this session was enlightening for you and that it brought you some clarity. I wish you a wonderful week ahead. Enjoy the week. Enjoy today being Victoria Day. I wish you a lot of love. Tomorrow, I have an amazing, inspiring guest on. You do not want to miss this young man's story. He is honestly one of the most inspiring people I have seen. He is actually from the UK, and he's going to be joining me tomorrow and share his story. And what we're going to really touch on is his mindset and resiliency. And when you meet this man, I'm telling you, your life will change. So join me tomorrow. He's an amazing soul. And that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. So lots of love. I love you all. Be kind to yourself and to others. I'll see you tomorrow.